My mom steals money from me to buy gifts for my little sister. I can't take it anymore. I never thought I would be the kind of person to feel betrayed by their own family, but here I am, sitting in my small apartment in Chicago, staring at an empty bank account and trying to make sense of everything. It all started innocently enough, or at least, that's what I told myself at first. Growing up, my mom was the center of our little world. She worked 2 jobs, cooked every meal, and made sure my younger sister had everything she needed. I was the oldest, so I learned early on to be responsible and independent. But there was always tension between my mom and me. Small things that I pushed aside because, well, family is family, right? The trouble began about 6 months ago, when I noticed something strange about my finances. I had a part-time job and I always kept track of my money carefully because I was saving up for college expenses. One day, after checking my account, I realized that a significant amount was missing, several $100s gone without explanation. At first, I thought it was a bank error, or maybe I forgot some automatic payment. But after reviewing every transaction, it became clear. Someone was taking money directly from my account. I felt my chest tighten. Who would do that? My mind raced to every possible culprit. Then, it hit me. I confronted my mom that evening when she came home. Her face turned pale, and she avoided my eyes. She didn't deny it. Instead, she started crying and explained that she had been struggling to buy gifts for my little sister's birthday and holidays. She said she didn't want to ask me for money because I was already helping out so much, so she took it quietly, hoping to put it back soon. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to yell. But hearing her say that, broken and desperate, something inside me softened. I told her it was wrong, but that I understood. We agreed she would pay me back, and things went back to normal, or so I thought. But the stealing didn't stop. Over the next few months, I caught her multiple times taking money from my wallet, from my savings, even from my emergency fund. Each time she apologized and promised it wouldn't happen again. Each time, I wanted to believe her. I tried to understand that she was doing it for my sister, that she wanted to make her happy, that she felt trapped in a world where money was always scarce. But it was breaking me. I started locking my doors, hiding my cash, and tracking every cent. My trust shattered piece by piece. I was exhausted emotionally, constantly waiting for the next time she would take what wasn't hers. The worst part, my sister had no idea. She was oblivious to the financial chaos that surrounded her birthday presents and holiday surprises. She was a child, innocent, happy with whatever she got, and that made it even harder to feel angry at my mom because it was, supposedly, all for her. One day, I decided to talk to my sister. I told her gently that money was tight and that sometimes, adults make mistakes trying to do the right thing. She looked confused but hugged me anyway. I realized then that I was carrying this burden alone while they lived in their bubble of innocence. That same day, I found out my mom had maxed out her credit cards, borrowing more money she didn't have. She was sinking deeper into a hole, and I was afraid it was only a matter of time before everything collapsed. I started looking for ways to protect myself. I changed bank accounts, got new cards, and even considered moving out earlier than planned. But it felt like a never-ending battle. How do you protect your money from your own mother? How do you protect your heart from the family you love but can't trust? The breaking point came when I overheard a phone call. My mom was crying, begging someone on the other end to help her. She said she hated herself for what she was doing, that she felt like a terrible person, but she couldn't stop. That night, I lay awake, thinking about forgiveness and boundaries. I knew I had to make a decision, either keep letting this eat me alive or set limits, even if it meant hurting those I loved. Tomorrow, I plan to sit her down and have the hardest conversation of my life. I don't know how it will end, but I can't live like this anymore. If you have any advice or similar experiences, please share. I'm lost, but I'm still here, trying to figure it out. The morning sun streamed through my window, but it didn't bring any warmth to my heart. Instead, I felt cold and heavy, like the weight of everything was pressing down on me. I had rehearsed what I wanted to say to Mom all night, but the words felt hollow when I finally saw her sitting at the kitchen table. She looked tired, more tired than I'd ever seen her before, bags under her eyes, her hands wringing a coffee mug nervously. "Mom," I started, my voice trembling slightly. "We need to talk." She nodded silently, staring at the worn-out tablecloth. "I know about the money," I said, biting back the urge to cry. "Not just once, but over and over. You've been taking from me. She didn't respond at first. Then, she whispered, "I'm sorry. I'm not mad that you wanted to buy things for Sarah," I said, trying to keep my tone steady. "I'm mad that you didn't come to me, that you felt you had to steal from me. We could have figured something out together." Her eyes filled with tears. I was ashamed. "I didn't want to burden you. You're struggling too." I sighed and took a deep breath. "I am struggling, Mom, but we're a family. We're supposed to help each other, not tear each other down." For the first time, she looked me in the eye without avoidance. "I don't know how to stop. I feel like I'm drowning." We sat there in silence for a while, the tension thick but honest. I realized then that she wasn't just stealing money, she was stealing from herself, trapped in her own cycle of shame and desperation. Over the next few days, we started to talk more openly. I encouraged her to look for help, financial counseling, community resources, anything that might pull her out of this mess. She agreed, and we even made a budget together. It wasn't easy. Old habits died hard, and there were setbacks. But slowly, I saw small changes. She stopped sneaking around with my money, and Sarah's gifts became simpler but meaningful. At work, I was distracted. The drama at home followed me everywhere. I found myself snapping at coworkers and missing deadlines. My boss called me in for a talk. "Everything okay?" she asked kindly. I hesitated, then shook my head. "Not really." She suggested I take some time off or see a counselor. I realized I needed to take care of myself if I was going to help my family. One evening, while Mom and I were going through bills, Sarah came running into the room. "Look what I made for you," she exclaimed, holding up a hand-drawn card. Mom and I exchanged smiles. In that moment, despite everything, I remembered why I was fighting for family, for hope, for a chance to heal. But the past wasn't done with us yet. Just when I thought things might finally be getting better, reality hit me like a freight train. One Saturday morning, I was sitting in my apartment, scrolling through my phone when I got a text from Sarah. It was a picture of a brand new video game console with a note. "Mom bought this for me. Isn't it awesome?" My heart sank. I knew how tight money was, how we had just started budgeting, yet here was evidence of more spending, big spending. I called Mom immediately. "Why did you buy that?" "We agreed to stick to the budget," I said, trying to keep calm. Her voice trembled. I just wanted to make her happy. She's been feeling left out at school because she doesn't have the latest stuff." I clenched my fists. "At what cost, Mom? We don't have the money for this. You're risking everything we worked so hard to fix." She cried on the phone, apologizing profusely. I could tell this wasn't just about the money, it was about her desperate need to be a good mom in Sarah's eyes, even if it meant breaking every promise. That afternoon, I sat down with my sister. "Sarah, I know it's tough when your friends have things you don't," I said gently. "But sometimes, we have to be patient. Mom and I are trying to fix things so you won't have to worry about money at all." She looked down. "I just want to fit in." "I get it," I said. "We all want that. But family is about more than stuff." It was a tough conversation, but necessary. I realized I was now not only dealing with Mom's actions, but trying to protect Sarah from feeling the same emptiness. The strain took its toll on me. I started sleeping less, eating less, and pulling away from friends. One night, I almost broke down completely, crying in my car after work. That's when my best friend, Mark, noticed something was wrong. "Talk to me," he said, handing me a bottle of water. I told him everything, the stealing, the fights, the guilt. He didn't judge. Instead, he told me to get professional help and reminded me that I wasn't alone. Encouraged by Mark's support, I reached out to a counselor. The sessions were hard. I had to face feelings I buried: deep anger, disappointment, sadness, and fear. But slowly, I started understanding that healing would take time, and I needed to be kind to myself as well as my family. Meanwhile, Mom tried to get a second job. She was exhausted but determined to make amends. Yet I couldn't shake the feeling that the fragile peace we built could collapse at any moment. One night, I overheard a heated argument between Mom and Sarah. "I can't keep doing this," Mom shouted. "We don't have money for everything you want," Sarah screamed back. "You don't love me." My heart broke in two. I knew then that my role had changed. I wasn't just the older sibling anymore. I was the anchor holding my family together, and that scared me more than anything. The tension at home was unbearable. Every day felt like walking on thin ice, waiting for it to shatter beneath my feet. One evening, I came back from work earlier than usual. The house was eerily quiet. As I walked in, I heard muffled voices coming from the living room. It was Mom and Sarah again. "I can't do this anymore, Sarah." Mom's voice cracked. "I'm trying, but you're breaking me." Sarah's sobs echoed through the room. "You never try. You only care about money." My chest tightened. I wanted to storm in, to yell, to fix everything, but I knew that wouldn't help. Instead, I cleared my throat and stepped into the room. "Hey," I said softly. They both looked up, startled. "I think we all need to sit down and talk," I said. We gathered around the small coffee table. The air was thick with frustration and sadness. "Mom," I began, "we all want what's best for Sarah, but yelling and fighting isn't helping anyone." Mom wiped her eyes. "I know. I just feel so overwhelmed. I don't know how to be better." Sarah sniffled. "I just want to feel like I'm enough." Hearing that hit me like a punch to the gut. Sarah was not just angry about the money or the gifts, she was hurting inside. "I think," I said, "we all need to be honest about how we feel. No blame, no anger." For the first time in weeks, the conversation turned calm. We talked for hours that night, about fears, frustrations, hopes. We made plans to attend family counseling together. It was scary but necessary. I felt a small flicker of hope. But just when I thought we were turning a corner, life threw another curveball. 2 days later, I received a call from my boss. "Due to budget cuts, we have to let some people go," she said. "I'm sorry, but your position is affected." I was stunned. Without my job, how could I support my family? How could Mom keep working? Panic rose in my chest. That night, I sat at the kitchen table, staring at the bills. The numbers blurred together. Rent, utilities, groceries, therapy sessions. How could we survive this? Mom came in quietly. "I'm sorry," she said. "I'll pick up more hours." I shook my head. "No, you've done enough." We looked at each other, two people drowning in a sea of uncertainty. The next morning, I started searching desperately for a new job. Every rejection email chipped away at my confidence. Sarah watched silently, sensing the storm but too young to understand its full scope. One evening, Mark came over. "You're carrying the world on your shoulders," he said. "You need to breathe." I broke down. For the first time, I let the tears fall freely. "I don't know if I can do this," I admitted. "You don't have to do it alone," he said. "We'll figure this out together." Despite everything, I realized that family was messy, painful, but worth fighting for. And maybe that was enough. The days that followed were some of the hardest I had ever faced. Yet somehow, they were also the most revealing. Losing my job was a blow, but it forced me to confront realities I had been avoiding. One morning, after applying to countless positions, I received a call from a small marketing firm. They were impressed with my experience and invited me for an interview. It wasn't the dream job, but it was a start. Mom and Sarah were cautiously optimistic. The family counseling sessions were tough, with tears and uncomfortable truths, but slowly, bridges were rebuilt. One evening, after a session, Mom said quietly, "I'm sorry for everything I've done, the stealing, the lying, the breaking your trust." I looked at her, tired but relieved. "We all made mistakes. What matters is what we do now." Sarah smiled, a real smile, the kind that reached her eyes. "I'm proud of us." At work, I found myself challenged but appreciated. The new job demanded a lot, but it gave me purpose. I was finally able to contribute steadily to the household again. There were setbacks, unexpected bills, tense arguments, moments when despair threatened to swallow us whole. But each time, we reminded ourselves, we were in this together. One afternoon, Sarah came to me, holding a school project. "Look," she said, "I made this for you." It was a simple drawing of our family holding hands, smiling, surrounded by hearts. I felt my throat tighten. "Thank you," I whispered. "This means more than you know." Life was far from perfect, but for the first time in a long time, it felt hopeful. I learned that family isn't about never making mistakes. It's about finding the strength to forgive, to grow, and to keep moving forward. And as I stood there, looking at the drawing, I knew one thing for sure. No matter what happened next, I would never give up on them or on myself. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.